Hi guys, so today we are going to discuss how we are going to drive in the winter kind of situation. Mostly you see in the winter there will be snow or black ice kind of condition on the road, and it really becomes slippery, and there is a high chance that if you don't be careful about these situations, you end up having an accident or you might scratch the car. So we'll look into the detail about the things which we need to really consider while driving on the icy conditions. So in general we have seen that in the winter kind of driving conditions, wherever we try to stop our vehicle at particular point, like say for example there's a stop sign and we try to stop at the stop, but because of the condition, the icy condition or black ice, whatever you call it, because of the icy condition on the road, the vehicle will not stop where you intend it to stop, but it will just skid further, and it will stop unexpectedly somewhere where you don't even want. Like if there is a if there is a traffic signal and you try to stop at the stoplight or the stop line, and what eventually happens in the icy condition, that you end up going into the middle of intersection while it is a red signal. So this kind of situation, like just we discussed, how we are going to make sure that that doesn't happen, because you cannot just go in the middle of the intersection while it is a red signal, because you are technically jumping the red signal. So in order to avoid such situation, how we need to make sure that we drive safely. So the point is, when we are driving in general and in the normal summer situation, or like the normal driving situation where there is no snow and winter, so if there is a stop and we just reach almost to the stop and we put the brake on and the car will stop. Why? Because our tires will have a traction, and our tires can directly get in touch with the road situation, and because of the rubber of the tire will just come into the surface, it will come into the contact of the surface and it will stop. But the problem in the icy condition is, because while you are driving in the snow and your tires are revolving and the rubber does not come in contact with the road, but there is a ice in between, and because of that reason, if you try to put on a brake, the car will not stop and it will just go little forward than where you intend it to stop. So the traction is the problem, because the car's tires are not going to get a traction because of the snow or the icy layer in between the road and the tire. So how we are going to handle that situation? We'll have a practical example right now, that if that is the situation and you want to stop safely within the time frame, and you don't want to go and exceed or over go in the middle of the intersection, or you want to jump the stop, or you want to jump the red signal. So how you can avoid those situations? Well, the planning. So first we are going to plan that we have intention to stop at particular point. So when you have a marginal gap, you have to decide that I want to stop at that point. You will brake how? So you will brake in multiple attempts, like 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, 5 time maybe. So this is how you are going to be in a control, where wherever you want that you want to stop, you can stop by this method, rather than you just putting a brake 1 time and the vehicle stops. In the normal situation, it will not happen in the icy conditions. So you will have multiple attempts, the way I discussed. So we'll have a practical scenario on that. All right, so we can see that in the left side there is a silver van, and I'm going to drive and stop just parallel to the van. Okay, not in the wrong side, but obviously I'm going to be in my lane, but I'm going to just stop in front of the van, and let's see what happens. Okay, in the icy condition, my speed will be roughly 30-35, not even more than that. So I'm driving and I'm going to brake like now. This is the full brake on, and my car is just skidding, and you can see that I am stopping not as I expected, but I am just moving forward. I already moved forward from the point I wanted to stop. All right, so we were planning to stop along with the silver van there, but my car just skidded from that point to this, and I stopped literally here. Why? Because of the icy condition on the road. So this is how it happens. So now the second scenario, and I'm going to stop, like I'm going to brake the vehicle in front of the same silver van, and this time I'm going to make sure that it stop in front of the van and it does not slip further and stop unexpectedly where I even don't want it to stop. So how I'm going to make sure, let's see. So I'm going to drive, and going forward I'm going to put the brake in a multiple attempt, like 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, 5 time, and now you can see that I'm able to stop in front of the silver van where I initially planned. So you can see that because of the multiple brake attempt, I was able to stop in front of the silver van where I initially intended and planned. So this is how this strategy work, and this is not only about the SUV. It's not about the sedan. Like all the commercial vehicle, if you consider like heavy truck or even school buses or every other huge vehicles, they also use the same. Even the commercial vehicles, all the commercial vehicles, they use the same strategy to control the car in the icy kind of situation. No matter how good your tires are, like winter tires, studded tires, or whatever the scenario, all the vehicles are going to just skid, like they are going to slip on the icy condition, and you can't do much. You just need to plan this way if you have intention to stop it in a way that you want to stop and you don't want to go any further than the point where you intend to. And this is the only strategy it's going to work. Not other strategy is going to work because of the icy condition. So multiple attempt is the way out. All right, so left turn and right turn in the icy condition where there is a snow or kind of black ice on the road, and how to control your vehicle while you are taking left turn or right turn. It's very important, it's very critical, because if you don't plan it properly, or if you don't do certain things, then you're going to end up having an accident kind of situation, or you're going to scratch the car. Anyhow, it's an accident. So how we are going to avoid those kind of situations while you're going for the left and right turn? So let's see. Okay, so let's see. We go for the right turn. I am going to try to maintain my lane, and this is how I go right. But you can see I'm struggling, and I'm getting closer to this side of the vehicle here, rather than I wanted to maintain my lane to the right side. All right, so we are going to go for the left turn, and let's see what happens because of the icy condition. So my speed is going to remain in between 25 to 30, not more than that, and I'm going to go for the left turn. But you can see that my car is just having a nightmare. Yeah, I'm exactly in the parking side of the lane rather than I'm in the driving. So you can see that this is what exactly happens when you have the icy conditions. So we just saw that while going for the left turn and right turn, my speed was not even too much. It was like 25 to 30 in between. But because of the snow and icy condition on the road, I was really having a hard time to maintain my lane, and I almost made a wide turn and went into the parking side or other side of the lane in the left and right turn, which you can see clearly. So the point is how we are going to make sure that we don't end up in this kind of situation. Well, for this strategy is simple, that you have to be 100% sure that while you are driving straight, you can drive and you can increase your speed, which is okay. But if you have intention to go for the left and right turn, you need to make sure that in this kind of icy condition you remain with the speed of like roughly 15 to 20 or less than that, and going slowly is the only way you can avoid this kind of situations. So let's see, I'm going for the right turn here, and if I go slowly, then I would be able to control my car if I want to go for right turn. So I change the lane and I go for the right. Because my speed is right now 15, that means I am able to maintain my lane and my car is not skidding or slipping on the road. Okay, so while you're driving in the winter situation, you would usually see a kind of pattern that in the icy conditions on the road, people usually tend to drive in the middle of the road. They don't actually maintain the driving lane of their side, but they just drive in the middle of the road. And I can just show you the track right now. So let's see, here on this road there is only one track. You can see the brown part, which is like in the brown part there is no snow because the vehicles are going here and there. So everybody technically is driving in the middle of the road. That is how you are going to conclude, yeah? Because here these are 4 lanes, and the right side is the parking side of the lane, left side is the parking side of the lane. In between 2 driving lanes are there, but the way the tire pattern, you can see that there is only 1 lane. So technically there are 4 lanes, but still people choose to drive in the middle of the road. So is it a good strategy? Yes. If you want to remain safe on the road in this kind of icy conditions, yeah, you drive in the middle of the road, which is okay. But if you are planning to go for the left curve, right curve, or like left turn and right turn, and you are not able to see the other side of the vehicle, which is oncoming vehicle, and he is also driving in the middle of the road, then there will be a really bad situation, because you both guys are driving in the one lane, and you are going to collide with each other if you don't understand this situation. So you need to make sure that if the road is open, you are going straight, and there is no possibility that somebody will take turn and come in front of you, then you can remain in the middle. But if that is not the case, and you are uncertain about the street, or you are in uncharted territory, you are in the new area, you are in the new city, I highly recommend that you drive in your lane and don't drive in the middle of the middle of the road, and avoid this kind of accident kind of situations. So the point is, like as we discussed, like there is a a pattern in the middle of the road that everybody prefers to drive in the middle of the road, in the 4 lane road. And if there is an oncoming vehicle, and if you are not able to see the oncoming vehicle, particularly if there is a left turn, right turn, or left curve or right curve, then it is going to be dangerous, because somebody is also driving in the middle of the road while you are also driving in the middle of the road, and there is a possibility that accident can happen. How to avoid this? Well, so the thing is, you need to maintain your lane whatsoever. If it is icy condition and you see that people usually prefer to drive in the middle of the lane, like middle of the road, if there are 4 lanes and there are 2 parking side of the lane, and there are 2 driving lanes, one is your driving lane and there is other side of the driving lane, but still people drive in the middle. So can you do that? No. So how you're going to maintain the lane? Because if there's a yellow line, okay, in the middle of the street, if there is a yellow line, and you can see that, okay, this is my side of the lane and this is the other side of the lane, so you can just distinguish that which is your lane. But in the icy condition, you wouldn't see any yellow line in the middle of the road, and mostly in the residential area you won't see any yellow line. So how you are going to make sure that you maintain your driving lane? So this is how, roughly from the right side of the vehicle of yours, okay, so the parking lane, you are going to have 4 feet distance, and you will drive, that is your driving lane. So technically, this is how. So you can see right now in my right side there is a vehicle, there is a blue car, and then there is a silver car. So in this situation I am going to remain in a distance of this blue car, and the distance will be 4 feet. Technically, I am not driving in the middle. I am just 4 feet away from this vehicle. Why 4 feet I am going to maintain the distance? Because if somebody is inside the car, if somebody is on the call, I might not knowing that somebody is already inside the car and he is on the phone. He will finish his conversation and he will open the door, and if he opens the door, he should not smash my mirror. So this is the reason I am going to keep 4 feet distance. Right now you can see that there are vehicles parked in angle position. I am going to have 4 feet distance, and if I drive like this way, if there is a vehicle coming from that side, from the other side, he can also go without having any situations and without having a close encounter. So this is how I'm going to create 4 feet distance in my right side and maintain my driving lane, because this is the only way you can make your judgment that you drive in your driving lane. You wouldn't see any yellow line in the residential area, so this is the strategy you can maintain, and this is how you can maintain 4 feet from the right side and you drive safely. So when you see the winter situation and icy conditions, you will see that mostly the main road will be clear and there will be no snow. Right now you can see that you can visibly, you can easily see the yellow line visible in the middle of the road. But the problem is, when you go in the closed community, when you go in the residential area, you wouldn't see any yellow line and you can't make the judgment that you are driving in your driving lane or you are driving other side of the lane, or maybe you are overlapping the parking side of the lane, where it's little difficult to make a judgment. And that is what happens. That is the challenge, that closed community is really difficult to drive, and the main road or even the highway, it will be clear. So you don't need to worry about driving on the highways or like in the main road, because mostly if there is a snow kind of condition, they are going to clear that and you can drive easily there, unless there is a snow storm going on, or there is a heavy snow, and then they are not able to clean that because it just the snow started and you can't do anything about that, and you don't expect that the municipality will clear the snow immediately. So there is a time frame. But yeah, eventually in this kind of icy condition, the main road and the highways will be always clear and you wouldn't have any icy conditions and you can drive safely. But the residential area is the struggle, and that is the challenge that you have to be careful about. Okay, so one of the common scenario you might observe, or you might have felt also sometimes, that when you are driving in the winter situation and there is a icy conditions on the road and you have a traffic signal where you just go and stop there in front of the red light. Now what happens is, like you are the first person in the traffic signal in your lane, and there are, let's say within a couple of minutes there are 12-15 vehicles behind you also. Now you have the responsibility to move your car as soon as possible when it turns green. So when the light the traffic light becomes green, you will try to accelerate the vehicle, but usually that the tires are not going to get the traction because it is not in the direct touch of the surface of the road, and it doesn't find traction. So your car is going to the tires are going to revolve, and the car is not going to move the way you want it. So in that kind of desperate situation, sometimes people, what exactly they do, they make this mistake that they just try to accelerate too much, and they expect that if the car is not moving, then I will just press acceleration too much so the car will move faster. But that doesn't happen like that way, because that is a problem of the traction, that is not a problem of acceleration. So you might have observed that when you have a psychological pressure that there are 10-15 people behind you waiting for you to move so they can also move, so you accelerate, the car doesn't move faster, and you accelerate too much and expect that your vehicle will move forward and you are not going to bother other people, but that doesn't happen. So eventually when you accelerate too much, there will be a time and the point where your tires are going to create a heat, and because of the heat, the layer of the snow or like ice will melt, and suddenly when your cars find traction, what happens? Suddenly your car will move like this, it will make humming sound, and then it will be not in your control. So this is the awkward situation you need to avoid, and sometimes you just end up having an accident or going in the wrong side also. So what is the strategy here? Like, when you are at the signal and then the signal suddenly turns green and you have to move. So if you move, with the accelerating too much, it's not going to work out in your favor. So how you are going to move and avoid the embarrassing situation? So simple. The way you go is like, don't accelerate too much at one shot. You have to accelerate like 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, like that way. So in an installment, you are going to accelerate the vehicle, not like in the one shot, like you accelerate too much that you end up having a situation where you don't have the control over the car, and then it is something you don't want. So avoid these kind of situations. Understand when you have to accelerate at the traffic light, you have to accelerate with this strategy, like accelerate, 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 not like in one shot you press too much.